Alright guys, how's it going? I'm the Crown Clown and today we're doing the 4K special. Before we get started, just want to let you guys know, thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers over that today. So I'm very thankful and I kept you guys waiting on this one, and I plan to deliver some top quality story for this one right here. So as always, let's play that new intro.
Ay, 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 ay.
Alright, coming back from the intro now. So tell me, what did you guys think of the new intro? Comment down below. Those of you who have not seen the new intro, because only like 300 of you guys got to before I took it back down. And not for any reason, just giving people that actually view all the videos that I post. So, yeah. Anyway, today we're doing What If Deku Was the Demifiend. And this one is going to be a darker what if story. Because if you know Shin Megami Tensei, it's basically dark storytelling. And I love it. It's one of my personal favorite series to ever play and fall in love with. It's just great all the way around. So with that out of the way, let's jump into part 1 of What If Deku Was the Demifiend. So this is actually going to start around when Deku was 3. So Deku's still going to grow up and he's going to be all worshipping heroes and all that stuff. But this world's drastically different because the world's come back from several catastrophes centuries in the past. So several almost earth-wiping events have happened, and the people know about it. So quirks are a lot stronger than they are in the canon. So, yeah. They're pretty well prepared, and demons haven't been an issue for centuries. Lucifer hasn't caused any problems. Gods, angels haven't caused any problems. The earth has been relatively at peace, so nobody really remembers the old ways of the demon summoners or the samurai or any of that. So, yeah. But Deku, he's 3. He's highly impressionable, and he's watching All Might on TV as always, and he's still fanboying over All Might and all that. But the years go by, and Bakugo's actually bullying Deku a lot harder because him and Deku aren't really that close of a friends and anything. And this one, Bakugo doesn't look up to All Might, he looks up to Endeavor. So Bakugo's wanting to be like Endeavor, and he sees Endeavor being super badass, brutal, and Bakugo starts to imitate that type of behavior instead of trying to be like All Might. He wants to overtake All Might to prove that he's better than Endeavor, since Endeavor's not able to do it. But Bakugo's goal is to be a better Endeavor. So that's where he's at right now. As for like Deku, he can't take being bullied like this anymore. This is before they have their quirks assessments and all that. But he comes home crying to Inko every day. Inko's, very emotional with Deku. Hisashi's actually very strict and says, you need to start standing up for yourself. You need to defend yourself. Like, do we need to get you in martial arts or anything? And Deku's like, yeah, that could help, but they don't know what's all gonna happen. So really, like, the years go by. Deku does take martial arts practice a little bit. Not too much, it's like 2 years of it. And now it's time for their quirks to be assessed in. Bakugo gets his explosion quirk, and the first thing he does is just blow up a small explosion right in front of Deku's face. And that scares Deku. And Deku's just like, why would you do that? And Bakugo's just like, because you're a Deku, you're useless. As Deku's like, just you wait, when my quirk arrives, it'll be stronger than yours. And Bakugo says, sure, bet, Deku. And what ends up happening is when Deku goes to the quirk doctor, he's quirkless, diagnosed quirkless. And Deku's just like, but why? And they say, well, you still have this useless bone right here, and all that, and basically Deku's just shattered. The next day comes, and Bakugo, he just straight up beats Deku within an inch of his life. Like, Deku has to be sent to the hospital. Inko is furious, but the school's not wanting to do anything about it because they don't want to ruin Bakugo's potential and put a permanent mark on his record when he's this young, and they just see it as boys being roughhouses. And if Deku didn't be quirkless, then, you know, he wouldn't have gotten hurt that bad. It's just all Deku's fault. That's how they're trying to push it off. And, you know, Mitsuki, she tries to apologize to Inko, but Inko slaps her in the face and says, don't you ever let that brat of yours around my son again. And she is just right in there with Deku on his bedside. And basically, like, Hisashi, he's in there, he's pissed. Like, he's wanting to beat the fucking shit out of Bakugo. Like, he's relatively always been kind of calm and understanding, but this is just over the line. He seriously wants to just beat the hell out of that kid. And then there comes this elderly man. He starts walking in. He's walking with a cane. He's very well dressed. And he has snow white hair and a very long beard. And he enters the room and says, well, hello. This might happen to be the Midoriya room. Am I correct? As Inko and Hisashi says, yes, who are you? And the man says, I'm here with a proposition. As they say, okay, and what's your name? And he says, my name is Mr. Morningstar. And I would like to offer you the chance to give your son some power. Something that can help him in the long run. It could actually make him the strongest person on the planet, if you would let me. And they're kind of on the fence about this. They don't know what it is that he could be offering. And Deku, he's just starting to come to. And Deku sees the man and he's not afraid of him. He's actually kind of awestruck at the man. And the man tells him as he sits down in a chair by Deku's bed, I can give you power. Do you want to be strong? Do you want to take revenge on Bakugo for what he did to you? And to show people you're not weak, that you're not useless? You see, people are cruel, and the longer you stay powerless, the more cruel they're going to be to the point where they could kill you and not care. I'm offering you an out. How about it? Would you become my Demifiend? And Deku's wondering why his parents aren't saying anything, and the man says, I'm speaking telepathically into your mind. Trust me, they won't hear a word of this. This is your decision to make, and yours alone. I can make them more agreeable to this to help you. And Deku, all he thinks about is, what if he had power? What if he had the strength? He wouldn't have to worry about Bakugo anymore. He could get even with him right here and right now. As he tells him, yes, I want that power. I'll become your Demifiend. And basically, the man smiles and says, excellent. As soon as he asks Deku, would you like the operation? Out loud, where Inko and Hisashi can hear, and Deku says yes, and Inko realizes this could only help her son. There's no potential drawbacks from what she hears. As Hisashi says, you're sure this can make him strong? This can make him nearly invincible? And the man says, I'll make him the strongest I've ever done. As basically, they both agree. They sign his contract, and Deku is transferred over to his hospital. And on the outside, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. It looks like a perfectly good, state-of-the-art hospital. And Deku's parents aren't allowed to go in with him. Since it's an operation, they have been told that he'll be under for a few days, and they're going to do the operation. It could take a while. And they say, okay, sure. So the operation starts going, and Lucifer implants the necessary arrangements to make Deku the Demifiend. And with this being the second Demifiend he's ever created, Lucifer is wanting to make this one even stronger. So he does some stronger augments to Deku. And Deku, when he comes out, he's still going to have his green hair, but the markings are going to be all over him. He's still going to have that spike on the neck, and his eye color is going to be changed to yellow. So Deku is actually waking up. And keep in mind, Deku's 5 years old, undergoing the Demifiend transformation. So he's going to have 10 years of training and preparation with his power. Meaning he's going to be exponentially stronger. And yeah. So by the time Deku gets there and he's awake, it's been like about a month. And Deku is really happy with how he's recovered. He feels accustomed to his new body. He can feel the strength, the power coursing through him. So after the surgery's done and Deku's let back home, and his parents haven't seen him in a month, and they're surprised at how he's changed physically. Deku was always a really scrawny kid, but now his muscles are very well defined, even for his age of being a 5-year-old. And the markings all over his body, the parents find that to be very weird, but they notice, other than that, not a whole lot has changed, and Hisashi's actually wondering what could have happened to Deku. And that's when Mr. Morningstar approaches them and says, "I would like to train your son. After all, he has abilities that would be problematic if went out of control." They agree to that. Like, that's the most reasonable thing they've ever heard from somebody offering them power. So Deku is actually, for the next 10 years, which means from the rest of elementary school all the way through middle school up to when he graduates middle school, he's going to be taught and trained by Mr. Morningstar. And everybody should know who I'm talking about here. I mean, he's only one of the most influential people of Shin Megami Tensei. But yeah, basically, Deku is being trained by Lucifer. So he's actually getting very strong. Lucifer keeps hitting him until Deku's at the point to where, one, physical attacks don't hurt him. Fire doesn't hurt him. Ice doesn't hurt him. Wind, lightning, holy, and dark attacks don't hurt this man. And Deku, basically his build is more physical mixed with magic. So that's, for all you SMT players, he has a hybrid build, basically. But yeah, he's actually learned quite a bit of skills and abilities from Lucifer. He learned the Divine Shot, so that's his most prominent attack right there. But he's also made a few contracts with demons. Since he has been fighting demons for the past 10 years, he's honestly is able to form a contract with 3 and summon 3 demons at a time. So, yes, his demons he's able to summon are Pixie, Jack Frost, and, let's see, Raiju, which means he's even more so just overpowered against ice users and lightning users, or electricity, which means, yeah, Todoroki and Denki, rest in peace. But he is incredibly strong physically. With his physical strength alone, he could level a whole city block. So he's stacked. Like, his build is incredibly just muscular for his age. So he's like double the size of Canon Deku in muscle mass alone. He's still the same height, but he does have those markings all over his body, and he prefers to wear a hoodie and kind of like a little face mask, some long baggy pants, and he doesn't wear those red shoes anymore. Instead, he wears like some blue ones. So yeah, that's his style from now on. He has a blue hoodie, just some normal baggy pants, some blue shoes, and a black face mask. And he always wears the hood up. It's kind of just to cover up all the markings so people don't ask him all those questions. And he does wear some gloves as well to cover up his hand markings. But yeah, he's actually pretty ready. So, also, forgot to mention, he's incredibly smart. He's had centuries of knowledge just drilled into his head over the course of 10 years, which makes him honestly the smartest person out of the My Hero Academia League. He's even smarter than Nezu. So yeah, Lucifer did a lot of good to him. And Lucifer's only doing this to liven things up a bit. Like, he just wants people to realize how things were. He still has like a no conflict pact with God and all that. So he's not going to be causing any real trouble, because he knows if he broke that pact, like, it'd be his ass. He's not as strong as he used to be. That's kind of why he's hoping to make this new Demifiend a lot stronger, because the old one died a very brutal death at the hands of God. And yeah, Lucifer doesn't want Deku to have that same fate if he ever decides to take over for Lucifer. So it's more like Deku's Lucifer's successor right now. And as for that, Deku, his personality, he's very battle hungry. He's just very confident. He's outspoken, but he's also kind of reserved when there's nothing really going on. He doesn't really talk to people. He's really just to himself. It's all for his best interest. Like, he doesn't see things as good and evil. He sees everything in shades of gray. Like, inside of good there is evil, inside of evil there is good. Like, that's how he looks at everything. So it's whatever suits his best interest is what he'll do. So honestly, he's really just neutral. And he's walking down the street to UA, like, he's just no big deal to him. And he gets to the entrance exam and he's just jamming to some music as he's walking. And like, everyone's just looking at him kind of funny, and Deku just pays them no mind as he's just walking by them. And people are just like, man, this guy is actually gonna pass the test. That's kind of creepy. He looks more like a villain. And honestly, Deku doesn't bump into Uraraka, but he does bump into somebody else. He bumps into Shinzo. Because yeah, Shinzo was there as well and all that. But yeah, Shinzo's there, so he bumps into him as Shinzo's just like, oh, I'm sorry. And Deku says, no, don't worry about it. As Shinzo says, it looks like these people are calling you kind of villainous. And Deku's like, it doesn't really matter to me, because I do what I want. I don't care what they call me, because at the end of the day, only person's opinion of me that matters is my own. Like, I wouldn't let people get to you like that. As Shinzo's like, so you can just take all that hate like it's nothing? And Deku says, I grew up my whole life getting bullied. Like, trust me. People calling me a villain, that's the nicest thing I've ever heard. As Shinzo's just like, okay, wow. And they start talking, and Shinzo's actually starting to open up to Deku about all his suffering that he's gone through, with people just putting it right up in his face, like, hey, don't do that to me, don't be a villain, kind of psychologically torturing Shinzo a little bit. And that means Ida doesn't actually come up to try and interfere with them. So yeah. And as for Bakugo, like, Bakugo's still popping out his mouth, so it's Bakugo and Ida that actually end up getting the two fucking just rivalry going on, the dislike for each other off the bat. And basically, Deku and Shinzo, they sit next to each other, they take their test, and yeah, Shinzo realizes he can't read Deku's mind at all. Like, every time he tries, it just fails for some odd reason. And Deku says, I know you're trying to test yourself on me, but mind tricks, they don't work. Like, my head's just too strong for it. And Shinzo's just like, that's the first time I've met anybody our age to where my mind tricks don't work. And Deku's like, well, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, nothing about me any different. I'm actually quirkless. So, hey, I guess a lot of training, you can build up immunity to it. I mean, maybe it's just my upbringing. Who knows? As Shinzo's just like, alright, but wish me luck. I probably won't score very high on this. As Deku says, well, if you don't, try again later. After all, isn't there a way for you to move over eventually? And Shinzo's like, yes, eventually, maybe, but it's gonna take a lot of work. And Deku's okay. And you scared to put in the work for something you want? If that's the case, you're pretty weak already. Shinzo's like, I will never be scared to put in work for what I want. Deku says, alright then, take responsibility for your actions and your own weaknesses. Don't put them on anybody else. That makes you one hell of a pussy. As Shinzo says, alright, I understand. As Deku says, better. I don't want to come back and beat your fucking ass because you're putting your shit on other people. As Shinzo says, wait, so are we friends or... And Deku says, yeah, of course we're friends. You're the only one who can share my same suffering. Not exactly, but kind of. You kind of understand me, so in my mind, we're friends. That would make you my first friend ever. And that's when Deku hears that voice and he's like, okay, fourth friend ever. First human friend, but fourth friend in total. As Shinzo says, wait, you mean you have like pets or something? And Deku says, I guess you could call them that. And then he just gets like feedback from hell. And he's just like, alright. They're more like family than pets. Like, I wouldn't call them pets. As Shinzo's just like, yeah, okay. Are you having mental problems? Are you alright? And Deku's like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And Shinzo basically asks Deku what's going on with him, and Deku just says nothing. Don't worry about it. So they're ready, and President Mike opens up the gates, and, Deku just walks in casually. He really doesn't care. And he's just destroying robots with a bitch slap here, bitch slap there. And honestly, like, his demons are wanting to come out, and he says, you know what? Fine, let's scare some people. So Deku takes off his gloves, he takes off his mask, pulls his hoodie down as people see the markings on him, and they're just like, yo, he has tattoos or something? And basically he's just like, no. So he calls out Raiju as he says, alright, Raiju, go ahead, give me a shock. So basically, he just hits like one enemy with super powerful lightning, just straight from the sky, and they're just like, what is that thing? And they just realize, that thing's powerful. Then he calls out Pixie, and Pixie uses her wind magic, destroys it, and he just calls out Jack Frost on top of that, and Jack Frost is just freezing out all of the robots, and they're just like, how many of these things does he have? And Deku just says, only 3. I only got 3 at the moment. But Deku just says, divine shot, as he shoots out a huge blast of divine magic straight out. But he does feel a lot of pain, because in the games you have to sacrifice like 15 or 13% of your HP to pull that move off. So in here, Deku feels like 15% pain from the move that he dealt as backlash. But it doesn't really hurt him all that much, because the dude's freaking strong as hell. So he can pop those off like it's nothing. So basically, Deku's just dominating it, as Bakugo just says, hey, isn't that cheating? And President Mike says it's part of his power, so he can use it. And Deku's just like, yeah, it's part of my power. How would you like to feel it? As he points his hand right at Bakugo, and President Mike has to immediately say, combat amongst the examinees will result in a permanent dismissal and ban from ever taking this again. Deku says, damn, looks like you get lucky. Stay out of my way, sideliner. As he rushes over there and just destroys more robots. And he tells his demons to go crazy. But Deku can hear it. another contract is close to being formed with another demon. As he's like, oh, as soon as I get home today, there's a new one I'm bringing out. As he's getting ready, and of course, for all my Shin Megami Tensei fans, I'll let you comment down below out of, give me 3 options for Deku's 4th and final demon for a good part of the story. Because he's going to actually be retiring one of them pretty soon to get a new one after the whole USJ incident. But anyways, so Uraraka still ends up getting hurt, and Deku grabs Shinzo and says, hey, come here. And Shinzo's like, huh, what? He says, go save that girl. Get rescue points, my man, come on. As Shinzo's like, you're right, I'm on it. So while everybody else is running away, Shinzo's running towards, and Deku is right there behind him. Shinzo's the one that actually saves Uraraka, so he gets all the rescue points. As Deku's just like, alright. And he looks up at it, and he just says, divine shot. And once again, but this time, when it hits the 0 pointer, it immediately blows it away. Like, reduces it to nothing. And everyone's just like, if we were ever hit by that, Deku says, yeah, you wouldn't be walking away from it. Ever. So everyone's actually kind of terrified of Deku. He throws his hood back up, he throws his, gloves on, his mask, and he just starts to walk away. As Shinzo says, thank you. And Uraraka says, thank you to Shinzo, and Shinzo's like, no problem. And Deku says, you did good, man. Did good. Well, see ya. If you get in, you get in. If I get in, I get in. And Shinzo's like, hey, wait a minute. You want to go out somewhere to eat to kind of celebrate? Deku says, what's the harm? Sure. So they're getting ready to go. And Shinzo's like, where do you want to go eat? Deku just says, 1 second. As he pulls out his demons and says, where do you guys want to go eat? As they're just saying, someplace with lots of meat. And Shinzo says, that they talk? And Deku's like, yeah, this is what actually was talking to me before. And you're 4th to them? So, yeah. That's why I said first human friend. And Shinzo, she's like, what are they? And Deku says, I'll explain it all in due time. Maybe. Don't hold me to it. But anyway, let's just go eat. Come on. Barbecue's good enough. I'll pay for it. And Shinzo's like, we'll go in halves. You just pay for your 3, I'll pay for my 2. And Deku says, deal. So they get there at the barbecue, they pay for everything, and basically they're just there eating. And Deku's drinking some juice. Shinzo's drinking some tea, and basically the demons, they're just drinking up water or anything else they can get their hands on, because Deku won't order them any alcohol, which Raiju's really wanting. Deku just says no. So yeah, basically, Shinzo's really curious about what is Deku actually wanting to do, or why does he want to be a hero? And Deku says, well, my teacher wanted me to become a hero. Me, personally, I don't really care to be one. It just seems like a lot of work and dealing with a lot of self-important people. After all, you heard that spiky blonde mutt's fucking huge argumentation thing. As Shinzo says, yeah, I heard that. But, hey, you think it would be possible for me to make a contract with some demons? Deku says, maybe? I don't know. I'd have to ask my master about that. After all, Mr. Morningstar doesn't really just let anybody form contracts. But with you, he might make an exception, since you got no other power. But I don't know. So, basically, Shinzo's like, come on, please, help me out here. And that's when, basically, Raiju just says, I wouldn't mind making a contract with you. You work hard. You don't really complain a whole lot. You're kind of like the kid here. I'd make a contract with you. After all I need to do is be released from my current one, and I can make one with you right now. And Deku says, consider yourself released. And Shinzo's like, wait a minute, how would I summon you? And Raiju says, you have a smartphone, right? And like he says, yeah, of course I do. He says, let me see it. So he shows Raiju his smartphone, and Raiju just goes inside of his smartphone. He says, alright, contract's made. I'm yours. Take care of me and treat me with some food and drinks. And Shinzo says, alright, come on out here, eat your barbecue. And Deku says, technically I paid for that barbecue. He's not my demon anymore. So Shinzo's like, are you saying I really have to pay you? And Deku's like, nah, I'll let it slide this time. Just know that these little guys can get expensive. Hope you got a good part-time job. Shinzo says, I'm alright financially. I'm good. And Deku's like, alright. But just know I warned you. And Shinzo's like, sure, by all means. So Deku says, well, I need 2 more now. Oh well, 2 more contracts that can be made. I'm alright with that. So, once again, comment down below. And if you guys don't know, just Google SMT Demon Compendium and it'll show you a whole list of them. So yeah. Anyway, back to the story. So Deku is literally just like chilling there. He says, alright, it's time to go. And Shinzo's like, yeah, probably best to. So Deku heads on back, and Lucifer tells him that, yeah, letting that guy have that demon was alright, but no more. After all, he only gets the one. Unless he proves himself worthy enough, and then I'll pay him a visit myself, and give him the ability to draw upon more. And Deku says, wait a minute, aren't there other people besides you that can give that ability out? And Lucifer says, yes, technically, but they wouldn't do such a thing to anger me. It would be stupid, pointless even. And besides, if one person has the abilities like you, then you just have to kill them, because we can only allow you to be the strongest, no one else. After all, for this plan to work, I need you to be the strongest one, nobody else, understand? Deku says, yeah, I understand. After all, I was close to eliminating an obstacle. And Lucifer says, there's an obstacle to you already. Deku says, okay, more like an annoyance than an obstacle. And Lucifer says, that's more like it. After all, if there were a person with a quirk strong enough to actually hurt you, I'd be scared a little bit here. And Deku says, trust me, no, but I do need 2 new contracts. And Lucifer says, well, basically, you're gonna have to fight for them. You know the true deal, and so do I. You fight the demon surrenders to you, you make a contract with it, you get to summon it. So, by all means, whenever you're ready, I'll summon forth demons. You tell me which ones you want. I'll summon them. You fight them. You make a contract with them. Easy enough, right? And basically, Deku says, yeah. Easy enough. So, with that, Deku's actually just chilling with Lucifer until the acceptance letter comes. He gets it. He's honestly surprised. But they say he had the top score out of everybody. And they would really much want him to come to UA. And that he's in class 1A. And Shinzo immediately calls Deku after Deku gets done reading it. And he says, hey, what's up? Shinzo says, I'm accepted. I'm in class 1A. Those rescue points you had me get, they guaranteed my acceptance. I got 300 points off that. As Deku says, well, look at you go, Mr. Rescue Hero. As basically Shinzo's like, thank you for pushing me to do that, man. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have gotten in without you. And Deku says, what did I say about thanking me? It was your own choice that led to that. So quit bitching and bellyaching or thanking me, whatever the fuck it is. I don't care. Like, just shut up already. If you want to thank me, buy me some more food. I'm hungry. Shinzo says, yeah, alright, come on. This time we're going out for ramen. And no demons. I don't want to have to buy for them too. And Deku says, yeah, alright. So Shinzo hangs up. Deku goes out to eat with Shinzo. They talk, they joke. Deku's actually laughing a little bit. First time in years. And Lucifer sees this as a good thing for Deku. Because this is going to be someone that can push him to actually act heroically and show off his power even more. Because left alone to Deku, he really wouldn't do anything if it wasn't directly in front of him. But now that he's got a friend, there could be potentially dangerous circumstances where Deku would have to jump in now. So Lucifer is very happy with the whole deal with Shinzo and Deku. And basically, they go back home. Deku doesn't see Lucifer anymore. As when Shinzo walks home, he notices this weird app comes up on his phone. And he says, Demon Summoning App? He clicks on it. And that's when he sees Raiju just jump right out of his phone and sees Raiju's icon on there. And Raiju says, alright, so Mr. Morningstar has allowed me to explain this app to you. Basically, the app can only let you summon demons from your potential. There's no need for you to fight them, but at the same time, if you're not a strong enough master, they will attack you. And I can't really defeat them. So, yeah, I'm your weakest one, but also your strongest one, because I'm the only one. But, yeah, so, also, comment 2 demons for Shinzo to get. But, just know that Shinzo can't get any super high level ones. He's at the starting level. So, basically, up to level 20. That's where Shinzo can get. Deku can get anything from, level 1 to level 45. So that's where Deku's at right now. Actually, scrap that. Deku's all the way up to level 50. Just because of how strong he is right now. I'm not wanting to give him too many broken ones right off the bat. But later on, yeah, he's going to have some broken fucking demons. Shinzo, yeah, he might have a little bit too. So, yeah, just know that. So, yeah, Shinzo gets a huge buff in this series. Because I just like Shinzo as a character. And I think that him and Demifiend Deku would really get along great. So that's why I'm doing Shinzo this nicely. But anyways, Deku is really just chilling at home with his parents. They throw him a celebration party. Deku's not really feeling it, but he's alright with it. As he says, easy come, easy go. So time passes and it's time for the first day of school to appear. So Deku is walking up there with Shinzo because they're like brothers now. After bonding every day after Shinzo got that demon summoning app. And Deku actually got some pretty good training out of it. Because whenever he beats the demons, Shinzo just strengthens them. They level up and Deku gets a lot stronger off that. He can feel where his weaknesses are and correct them. So they're both a lot stronger. And Shinzo's actually able to work in unison with his demon. So, yeah, it's actually pretty good for both of them to train like that. And, yeah, so, first day of school happens, and it's time for, basically, the whole deal with Aizawa. As Deku gets in there, he sees he's in a class with Bakugo, and he's just like, gosh, damn, this motherfucker again. And he sees Ida, and he's just like, huh, he doesn't like him. He doesn't like him. Yeah, I'm gonna be friends with this blue-haired kid. Come on, Shinzo. Let's go talk to this man. Come on. As basically, Shinzo's just like, what? Are you sure? You just want to go talk to the one that's... And Deku's like, yes, I don't like the blonde-haired one. We're gonna be friends with the blue-haired guy. Come on. So, yeah, that happens. And basically, Deku introduces himself as to Ito. Says, hi, my name's Izuku Midoriya. Pleasure to meet you. And Bakugo hears that name, he's like, what, Deku, how the fuck did you get in here? And what's with those markings? Did you get tattooed? How the hell did you summon those things? And, Deku just grabs Bakugo by the face and sits him right back down and says, shut the fuck up unless I talk to you, motherfucker. Understand that? And Ida's just like, the fuck? Even Shinzo's just like, yo, this is a far cry from where this man was. And Bakugo's like, what, you think you're better than me? And Deku just bitch slaps Bakugo. And actually some blood goes out of his fucking face onto the window. And Deku says, "That was me just giving you a little love tap. Want to see what happens when I get serious? Fuck around and find out, bitch." And he just takes Bakugo by the shoulder and forces him back down into his seat. And he says, "Don't get up without my say-so. I don't care if the teacher tells you to get up. You don't get up unless I say so. We make myself clear?" And Bakugo's just like, the fuck? As he's just holding his face, and Aizawa has to get up early as everyone's just looking at Deku. Just like, how did he get in here? And basically, Aizawa says to see them outside in the hallway. Deku, he basically walks out in the hallway. Bakugo's just sitting there. Aizawa says, "Didn't you hear me?" And Baku just keeps sitting there. Basically, Deku says, "Oh, Baku bitch, come on, boy. Come on. Do as the teacher says. Come on. Come here, boy." And basically, Bakugo just gets up and everyone's just laughing at him. And when Bakugo and Deku get out there in the hallway, I was always like, the fuck is going on with both of y'all? Deku explains the whole situation. Bakugo tries to cut in, and Deku says, "Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. You're listening." And he tells Aizawa everything about his whole past with Bakugo, and Bakugo can't deny it. And Aizawa says, "Why wasn't that put down on your chart? That should have been a permanent mark. Why isn't this on your record?" As Aizawa just says, "Okay, hold on. Both of you, go back in there and sit down. I gotta go to the principal's office real quick." And he asks Midnight to take over his class for him. So Midnight gets in there. She sees Deku with all those markings, and she's like, "Are you tattooed?" And Deku's like, "No, they're not tattoos. It's part of my power. Alright?" And she's just like, "Oh, okay, cool." So, yeah. Basically, she says, "Alright, we're doing a quirk assessment. Aizawa told me to do that for you. So, if you guys would, please get changed and come on out there to the practice field." And Deku's like, "Alright." So him and Shinzo get going. Oh, and Shinzo replaces Mineta, so Mineta's not in this. Because fuck Mineta. Anyway, so with that, they all get down there and they're all changing. And since nobody's really peeping on the girls, that whole incident doesn't happen. But Kirishima's just like, "Yo, the hell, man, you're fucking shredded." As Deku says, "Oh, this? Yeah, kind of." So, basically, Deku's just like, "Alright, I'm gonna be out there." And he's the first one out. As the girls are all kind of just like whispering in there about Deku. And Uraraka actually says, "Well, the one that actually I'm more interested in is his friend, the guy with the purple hair. His name's Shinzo. He actually saved me during the entrance exam. I was about to get crushed, but he jumped in and saved me." And basically, all the girls are like, "Ooh, come on, tell us more about him, come on." And Uraraka says, "I don't know any more about him." And he's like, "Well, if he's hanging around that guy with the green hair, then he's got to be strong." As basically Uraraka says, "Yeah, I guess so." So Aizawa, he's in Nezu's office and he's calling up that fucking elementary school, and they're having to say, yes, he did do that. Because the hospital records show it. Deku's parents have stated that. Freaking Bakugo's mom, Mitsuki, she stated that. So the elementary school is actually coming underneath a lot of scrutiny for letting that slide. Especially since it's still causing an issue between the two boys now. So, yeah. But basically, Nezu says it's fine, just let it go. We're not adding it to his record. And as I was like, you can't be serious. That was a serious offense. And basically, Nezu says it's fine. The boy is still stated as quirkless. We don't know what type of power he has. He should be our more priority. After all, that blonde-haired kid, he has great potential. And because of that potential, we let that slide. Do I make myself clear, Aizawa? You will tell Deku to report to my office, as I'm going to have a word with him, and explain to him that he will not be doing anything to ruin the brilliance of that young man or his career. Do I make myself clear? Eraserhead. As Aizawa just says, and if I decline, Nezu says, then you can find another job. and I'll make sure not just your teaching career is over, but your hero career. Do I make myself clear? Aizawa says, crystal. So, Aizawa has to walk back out there, and Deku, he's about ready to throw. So, he gets ready, and he decides, you know what? I'm not actually going to throw this thing. So, he says, divine shot, as he just shoots that bitch. And basically, it goes all the way into space, and it says infinity. And Deku's like, yep, that's how it should be. And as soon as he does that, like, Aizawa says, Midoriya, I need you over here. So Deku runs over there and says, you gotta come with me. Principal wants to see you. So Deku says, okay, what about Bakugo? As Deku says, and Aizawa just like, the principal's decided that Bakugo did nothing wrong and has decided not to put anything on his record and to state that you need to be put in line, and I'll just let him explain it to you. So they get out there, and basically Nezu stands up to Deku and just says, you have a permanent mark on your record now. If you get 2 more, you will be expelled. Do I make myself clear? As Deku says, a mark for what? As Nezu says, you assaulted another student. Assault again, and I'll make sure that you're expelled from the school and arrested. I will ruin your life, young man. Do you understand me? I will ruin you. I will make it to where you can never be worth a damn thing ever again. My influence runs deep, and I care not for you in any way, shape, or form. And Deku says, listen here, you little furry bitch. I don't give a fuck what you say. You try to ruin my life, I'll fucking ruin yours 10 times over. Trust me, you ain't the only one with connections. I got my own. So you threaten me, I can throw that right back at you, bitch. Like I say, come at me, and let's see what fucking happens. So, one more thing. Add that fucking mark to his record too. Since you're gonna do mine for assault, but oh, when he does assault, it's okay? Bitch, please, get the fuck out of my face. And basically, Nezu says, you need to watch your mouth, kid. You need to show me some respect. You know what? That's a second mark. You're on thin ice. Want to be expelled on your first day? Deku says, just try it. Nezu says, get him out of here, Aizawa. He's been warned. One more fuck up, he's out of here. And Deku's just like, you better watch your damn back, little mouse. So, Aizawa's walking out of there and says, I'll try to do some things to give you a workaround. This is unfair. I don't know what's going on here, but something doesn't add up. And Deku says, nah, you're right, something doesn't add up. That motherfucker's getting a clean pass, and I'm the only one coming under fucking scrutiny. What the fuck? Is it just because of his quirk? Or anything that you guys can ignore his personality? All those other traits? Like, are you serious right now? And basically, like, Aizawa says, apparently power's everything in this. And Deku says, I'm stronger than him. I have more powers than him. And Aizawa says, one way to prove it. We're going to have a heroes versus villains at the end of the week. I will have it to where you will fight him. That way, assert your dominance and show everybody just how much stronger you are. I can tell. You're strong. And Deku says, damn right I am. So, basically, Deku's pretty much just like, this is unfair. And yeah, he gets back to the locker room, he changes, heads back into class, and he's the last one to get back. As everyone's just looking, and Bakugo's actually got a big ass smile on his face because he didn't get called down there. And all Bakugo does when Deku walks in the room is look, and Deku just gives him this look that says, you watch your back. And basically, that's all Deku does. He sits down, and Aizawa continues to teach. And yeah, that's actually where I'm going to leave it off. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I've been the Crown Clown. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.